welcome back, everyone. We've had a few weeks off, so we had Christmas there, and now it's actually New Year's Eve. We're recording this one. So you guys will hear this on Tuesday, which is, I don't know what day, but it doesn't matter. All I know is that it'll be 2025. So I'm super excited about that. We got some big things lined up for the podcast, got some big things lined up just in general. But yeah, so we're on episode 109. Today, got another one of my good friends, Andrew King, on the podcast. He owns a couple of different companies. Let him tell the story. Super excited about this one. Andrew and I met over this past year. He's a stud. We've been saying that we were going to get on this podcast for a couple of months now, and we finally made it happen. So probably more me than him. But Andrew, welcome to Pest Control Millionaire Podcast. Appreciate you taking the time with us today, man.
Well, thank you for giving me the time. It's been a while. I've been talking about this since probably September.
For sure. I know you moving into, or last time we chatted on the phone, you were thinking about, I know you weren't thinking about, you closed a new house, you're getting ready to move in. Where are things with that?
Yeah, we moved in 3 weeks ago. So it's a lot of work because the house needed some work. And so took a couple of weeks off and getting that going and enjoying the holidays these last couple of weeks. And yeah, just trying to get back to work.
Yeah, how was the kids and stuff in the Christmas in the new house?
Oh, they love it. We moved to 10 acres. So every nice day they're out in the woods, playing in the mud, playing in the creek.
That's awesome. I think you said your wife said it's like her dream house, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nice house, pool, bunch of land, quiet.
Those of you who are watching this on YouTube, you guys will see that Andrew's wearing a Chiefs shirt. So I almost didn't have him on the podcast. But yeah, the Chiefs are rolling. But Andrew, why don't you just kind of take us back to, I always ask the same question. You and I were junior, senior in high school. Who's Andrew in high school?
I started mowing lawns when I was 13 years old. My brother decided he didn't want to mow the neighbor's yard anymore because he got a real job. And I said, sure. Flash forward a few years, high school, going to school, played soccer, come home, mow lawns every night, mow lawns every weekend.
So you didn't stop when you were 13. You just kept rolling all the way through.
Yeah, one neighbor, two neighbors. By the time I was in high school, I was riding the lawnmower around the neighborhood with a little trailer on the back of it, mowing 30-some lawns in the neighborhood. Went to college local because I wanted to keep working, and went to college 2 days a week and mowed the rest of the time, and got out of college in 2009, and decided, I was making more money than most of my friends that had law degrees, finance degrees, whatever. I was like, I was just going to keep going, see what happens, and started hiring some employees. And that was, 2009. And flash forward again, 4 years ago, we bought our second company. We bought a Sam's Turf Care, fertilizer and weed control only company. It had been around since 1985. Sam decided to retire, and I stepped in and was lucky enough to be able to purchase it from him. And so the last 4 years, I've been running two separate companies. One does mowing, landscaping, snow removal. The other one is strictly fertilizer and weed control.
Well, I'm going to ask the question. Everyone already knows the answer. Which one do you like better?
The fert, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Why?
Simplicity. I mean, we do basically handful of things, but basically do one thing and do it really well and just do a whole lot of it. And it makes it easier on the employees, the office staff, the field employees, myself, that it's like right now we're getting ready for a snowstorm this weekend because we're still doing lawn care and snow, and then, doing renewals for our fert. It just, busy.
For sure. You guys do Christmas lights too, right?
Yeah, we do everything. Christmas lights, irrigation, snow, leaf cleanup, all that stuff.
Let's go back to early days. Let's just go sub 1 mil. So early on.
That'd be about 6 years ago. We got stuck at that $750,000 range.
How long were you stuck there?
3 years.
Okay.
And that's when we joined the Academy. Service Salaverri, shout out to everybody in there. And I hired my first office person who's still with me today. And we went from 750,000 to 1.2 million. And we hired her in March, and we did 1.2 million that year.
What do you feel like was the biggest lever that you pulled to get you unstuck? What did you learn from Academy that got you unstuck from there?
Delegating.
Okay.
Because it was me. We're doing 750. Yeah, I was the bottleneck. We couldn't grow because I couldn't answer the phone. So we, hired office person, started answering the phones, and it just blew up.
So just that was it.
Yeah. And now we're at pushing 3 million between the two companies. So
yeah, it's funny how one little thing like that, because a person answering phone can generate an additional 300,000-400,000 rev. So I mean, those are just calls that you weren't taking because you're probably out in the field being the supervisor or whatever you're doing at that time,
Yeah, it was just a matter of answering the phone and getting back to people, all that stuff. I mean, you listen to everybody, and we were taught in Academy, 500,000, you need to hire an office person. Well, I waited to 750 and should have hired them earlier, but been a lot farther along, a lot quicker. So,
and so much has changed since those early days. Now you can literally hire a VA overseas for half the price, that it costs. You could start this at 200,000 or 250,000. In revenue and pay half the price and have someone full time all the time, But back then, this wasn't available.
Yeah, or hire, some of these call bots or pink callers or one of these call services, just answer the phone for you, enter the stuff in. And
yeah, and shout out to John, the cost maker.
Yeah, a matter of a week, you can be up and running with a office staff. So,
but back then, that just wasn't a thing. Like maybe it was, maybe I just don't remember. It was a long time ago.
I don't think there were any. There were call places, but I don't think there was any strictly for service companies, lawn care companies, stuff like that.
Because I remember JP saying that he had an answering service back in the day. So I think it was for after hours or during. But so there probably was some out there, but we were just too young and too naive, or just didn't know, I guess.
Yeah, I just didn't know, or those people weren't on social media yet, so you couldn't find them and all that stuff.
How did you meet the Sam guy?
All right, so that's kind of interesting. About 5 years previous from so about 10 years ago, he actually sold his company to True Green. And I rented his shop from him while he was sold out. Well, 5 years and 1 day, which was his non-compete, he went back in. And year one, he had 1,200 customers back. And I bought him out. I think he was only back in at 4 years. When I bought him, he had 2,500 customers back.
Is that just because was local or he knew a lot of people?
We still have some of his customers that when we look in the system are customers since like 1992. I mean, everybody that wasn't, everybody hated True Green. Everybody in town hates True Green. They're just cheap. And so he sent one letter out and had like 1,200 customers back.
That's wild. Interesting how that works, eh? And then so he did it for another 4 years and decided to sell it again.
Yeah, 4 years. And one day he booted us out of the shop because he needed it. And one day I saw him outside, so I stopped by and talked to him. It was a Friday morning. I remember it in July. And I was like, hey, stop talk to him. I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, when are you going to sell this again? What are you doing? Because he is 72 at the time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And yeah, and it's, again, he was doing most of it himself. And I was like, when you sell it again? He's like, oh, I'm not going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. Monday morning, 7:30, got the phone call. We're doing this now. We're going to do it in the spring. What are we doing? I was like, let's do it now. And we went in a couple weeks later after hours and, 7, 8 p.m. and started working on stuff with him and looking at everything. And we closed. That was beginning of July, and we closed it September 15th of that year.
So if you haven't heard about Gorilladesk yet, it's a super sick software. It's actually made by one of my really close friends, Chris Mareshi. So Chris built Gorilladesk to help streamline his own personal business over 10 years ago. But now Gorilladesk is used by over 4,000 companies. And today it's become one of the most premier platforms in our industry. So what's really unique about Gorilladesk is that it's a simple all-in-one solution that's really easy for your team to use. Gorilladesk offers a seamless onboard experience and best-in-class support with no additional cost. It's all included in your subscription. Inside the software, you'll find a whole suite of features: scheduling, invoicing, routing, and sales pipelines, integrated VoIP, text messaging, and pretty much all the automation you're going to need, and much, much more. So if you guys are still relying on paper or spreadsheets or fighting with an old software, I highly recommend that you guys check out Gorilladesk. So we have a link in our description. Click on that and it'll take you right to their free trial. Now let's get back to the show. What's the plan with the landscape company? You guys going to keep running both companies side by side?
We're trying to sell it currently. So if anybody watching this wants to buy a lawn mowing and landscape company in Kansas City, give me a holler.
Yeah, where are you at in Kansas City?
We're in Green Valley, so east side of Kansas City, in the suburbs. Service just the east side of town.
So not only are we sending out letters, we're actually having it on the podcast. You just call up. It's one way to do it.
Yeah. Royal Lawn Service, Kansas City. Find me. We'll cut you a deal. So yeah, we're just... it comes back to that, why you like FERT more, and probably why you like FERT and Pest is it's simple. We can go sell one thing, sell just a lot of it, get really good at it, and we'll go to the moon.
Yeah. Going back to the landscape company, what's been the hardest thing over the last few years?
A couple of years ago, I'd say people.
Yeah. Like COVID time. 2020, 2021.
Yeah, COVID time, it was finding people. Because unlike you, we never had a day off during COVID. We were deemed essential and we were busier than ever. And so, yeah, people, this year we've been able to find people. A lot of it probably now is pricing. A lot of people, I think, are hurting. So we're having struggles with, getting stuff sold just because of price.
What's the population in Kansas City?
With suburbs over 1 million, 1.2, I think.
Okay, it's pretty big then.
Yeah, Kansas City itself's only like 750, but then there's a lot of suburbs.
Right. And do you service all of that?
Not on the mowing and landscape side. On the FERT side we do, but on the landscape side, we just are on the east side of town in the suburbs.
Gotcha. I mean, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah, well, from where my shop is to Olathe, which is the west side over on Kansas, if you get any kind of traffic, it's over an hour.
Okay, yeah.
For cutting grass, it doesn't make sense for us to drive all the way over there.
Makes sense to me. And then for it's a little bit easier, be a little bigger route. You just send people
a little bigger route, and we've got some customers over on the Kansas side, and that's one of the things we're concentrating on this year is filling in some of our routes with Jonas's door-to-door.
There you go. I like it. Or scale that baby up. It's like, I feel like FERT is the easiest thing under the moon to sell. Like, it is so easy.
Yeah, we've been, I got my first door-to-door guy. He's in the office right now working, just doing phone sales, following up, and it's going pretty good. I mean, it's holidays, so a lot of people don't want to buy anything during the holidays.
Yeah, and that's what I told my team too. Like, I get frustrated this time of year every year. During Christmas time, the New Year's, like, I get frustrated because my team just seems to be off, and then the customers seem to be off, and I'm like, okay, one more quick holiday tonight, and we're gonna roll through this. And 2025 tomorrow, we are rolling. So I'm excited for the new year for that. Like, I love the holidays. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. I love hanging out with my family and kids, but when it comes to the business side and our industry, it definitely slows down this time of year. Obviously, it's winter, bugs, grass, all that above. But then, yeah, come January 1, it's game time.
Yeah, so he's on even this week. He's helping the office girls in the office with stuff, with renewals, and because I was like, it's pointless to call anybody.
Yeah, what was he doing before?
He was calling, before I hired him, he was doing door-to-door for like roofing and siding and stuff like that. And then Verizon home internet.
Oh, yeah. I actually was where was I? I was down in Florida somewhere. We were in a condo. So it's like a big condo complex. And one of those guys, door-to-door guys, came there, started chatting with him, gave him my phone number. I was trying to recruit him on the spot. But he was selling Verizon too. He never even heard of pest control. I mean, he heard of it, but didn't know there was such a thing, so it was pretty cool. Got his contact information, keep in touch, but always be recruiting, right? Where did you find this guy?
On Indeed, just randomly. He applied, I think, for one of our office positions or something. And we saw that he had door to door. And so we just, hey, come on in, let's talk. And he's been doing pretty good. And he watched all your videos. We've been doing some training. And then, starting next week, we're going to go full tilt. And it's going to be cold, but full tilt on getting him trained up. And he's been working for us for 3 weeks, I think.
When you say cold, what's cold in Kansas City?
Well, next week is supposed to be highs in the low 20s and lows in the single digits, which is cold. It's cold for us.
Has it been warm there?
Oh, yeah. It's been in the 50s.
Wow. Hey.
But we're going to get a fair amount of snow fair amount of snow for us on Sunday and then stay cold next week.
Is True Green they have a pretty big branch down there? They have multiple branches there?
They got one big branch and it's big. We've hired some guys from them. They'll run 35, 40 techs in the spring.
Oh, wow, they are big.
Well, but by the time the summer hits, they run like 20 techs.
Yeah, for sure. And I wonder how many, and I know they're model and they buy up a lot of small companies like Sam's, right? And so they grow fast. They got a lot of money to back them up. But yeah, they definitely run an interesting model and they're big. But I just think of your door-to-door guy is probably just going to crush there because of that.
Oh yeah, and True Green does door to door, and Weedman does, but they do it different. All they do is collect information. They don't close it, because they've knocked on my door, and so I let them talk and do their thing. And it's like, oh, you're not going to sell me right here? No, the salesman will call you. I was like, okay, could add the sale.
I agree. So yeah, the True Green, they have the closer setter model. They come there, they'll set the appointment. There are sales guys will either call or they'll send them out on the doors. And I do like that model too. Just for me, if I'm going to pay someone to be out there, I'd rather just pay them the commissions just to sell it. It's just faster, less people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just get it done while you're there, while you have their attention. Because then you try to call them and set a point, try to call them and get it closed. Are they going to answer? They're going to call you back. It's already too late.
For sure. When it comes to marketing the last year, what's working best in Kansas City?
Facebook ads, probably. Google ads were this year were terrible, absolutely
Really?
terrible. Yeah, our cost per click was just climbing all year.
On the FERT side or mowing side, landscape side, where at?
Both, all both.
Really?
Yeah, and then something weird happened. Our ads on the Royal side, the mowing and landscape side, even their fee narration ads, our pay-per-click was better than on the FERT side. Even though they don't do it. Our marketing company was testing stuff out and they're like, your ads over here are cheaper.
Well, I just wonder because how long have the websites been up? How long have you owned the domain for? How many reviews does each company have? Because that'll show authority, you know what I mean, in SEO, in pay-per-click. So,
I mean, as far as reviews, we're maybe number 2 in the city.
On the lawn care, on Royal side or on the Sam Surf?
Both sides.
Okay. So not much difference.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that's bigger than us is Ryan Lawn and Tree. They've been in town forever, and they're on a buying spree too. They're doing 20-30 million a year now, all across the Midwest.
Yeah, they're big. That's cool. So Facebook is doing really good. And it's funny, I talked to someone yesterday, and they had the exact opposite. Their Google was crushing and their Facebook was not. But it obviously has something to do with the market too,
Yeah. And it's just, you see on the Google ads, I think Facebook ads are harder to figure out, and
it just takes a lot longer to get good. Yeah. Set and go, forget it.
Yeah, they set up some keywords and let it run. And when I see it, I search stuff and I see I see all these companies I never heard of, all these little companies running Google ads. And it's like, well, I mean, we're getting mixed in with 200 other companies that are running Google ads. So,
Sure. You guys are just fighting for the top spot, you know?
yeah, and True Green, who knows what they're spending? Because anytime you search anything lawn care, True Green's the first one up there.
Oh, they're spending a lot for sure. I don't know their ad budget, but I know it's a lot. But yeah, it's funny because they have like a call center, right? That answers phones, but they for everyone, and they also have like their own facility that answers calls too. So it's just funny how it's set up, but it's smart, and I get it.
They have a call center here in town. Because we had a girl in the office that worked for them for a couple of years that came to work for us, and that's what she worked at, was the call center. And she frankly got tired of it because people call and complain and nothing ever get done. She's like, I'll send it to my manager, but the manager would take a couple of days to call them back, and she was just fed up with, not getting solutions for their problems.
Do you know the franchisee there?
It's a corporate store.
Some of those franchisees are studs too,
Yeah, I talked to a couple of franchisees. There's a guy I talked to out of like Tennessee or something last year before. That was a franchisee. And he was crushing it. They were doing awesome, great reviews. He's like, yeah, it's, he's like, corporate stores normally suck just because it's corporate. But he's like, a lot of the franchisees, when they were still doing that, do really, really well and have good reputations.
Yeah, the one even in our area, it's got a really good reputation, does a really good job too, so it's not a knock to all the True Green owners out there, but just they get a bad name because of they're so big,
I mean, our local one's philosophy is if they can gain more customers than they lose.
It's a good philosophy to have. And I think that even with fertilization weed control, your retention is always going to be a lot lower than other services like pest control or lawn care. It seems like their retention is always a little bit lower. People are just always searching, Is
pest control normally higher?
Yeah, it's usually higher. I wouldn't say door to door, but in general, pest control is higher. Even I have friends that are big companies that, they're doing, 70% retention. They're in a good spot,
Oh, we do. I think last year we were like 80%.
Yeah. And I know I have a couple other friends that are like 80, 81, 82. They do really, really well. That's that every market's a little bit different, but yeah. So yeah, but for it in general, going back to my point, but for it in general, just it's always gonna have a little bit more churn, in general. Because like, again, it's lawn care. Some people like just sign up for the year just because they're going to sell their house or whatever. And then the grass is green and the weeds are gone. And then they just stop for a year or two and then they come back.
Yeah, we have that all the time. They cancel and come back the next year, 2 years later. And it's,
How many apps do you guys run down there?
We run 7 apps with 6 stops.
Okay, cool. You just double one up?
Yeah, we double up grub.
Double up grub. Do you guys work year round there?
No, we work February 15th to December 15th, roughly, if we can. Last year we didn't start till March because it snowed February 15th or 16th and didn't melt. But then the guys what's the day's 31st, the guys got done 22nd or 23rd this year. So a little bit later than we wanted, but.
Yeah. Do you have those guys go help your lawn care company, like doing snow in the winter, or they just take those 3 months off or 2 months off?
They get an option. We pay them in the winter because it's basically 6 weeks. We pay them $32 hours a week. They're required to work basically when we ask them. So like right now they're in the shop stuffing renewal. We mail out some renewals.
Prepays, yeah.
Prepaid, mailed out the prepays right now, and then they'll do the marketing, welcome packets, all that stuff, and then service equipment, all that fun stuff, and then they'll get 3 or so weeks. They'll be here probably another week, and then we'll tell them, see you in February. And then if they work snow, they'll get paid extra to do that. Some of them work snow, some of them don't.
Yeah, we have the same thing. Like they'll go back and they'll help the company that I sold, and some people are like, no, we're good. We're just gonna take the 3 months off, enjoy it with our family, holidays, and get back to it in the spring. I've had a guy who's been with me for like 12 years that once the winter hits, he just wants to take his time off and come back springtime and he's back at it full time. Like he's a workaholic in the during season, but in the off season, he just wants his time off. There's nothing wrong with that,
And you guys are off 3 months?
Yeah, so we got done late this year because we just had some really bad weather. Like the whole spring rained here, and then the whole fall did the same thing, just rain, rain, rain. But in summer, it was like the driest summer ever. So we got like a month behind. So we didn't end FERT until like the last day in November, which we're usually never even go into November. Like November 1, we're usually done. So we worked until December. We worked through November, and then we were done by the end of November. So we'll have December, January, February off. We usually start back up like March 1st or March 15th. But we have no snow right now, so.
Still doing pest control then in the lair?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so pest control doesn't stop for us. Obviously, we don't do mosquito, but then it goes into rodents, bed bugs, all that stuff. Our pest control side of the business doesn't stop at all, which is great. Do a lot of commercial stuff too, so it keeps us busy.
Your lawn technicians then go to help with pest control, or?
Some of them do, yep. Some of them do. So we only lay off a couple people. Like I said, the ones that choose to get laid off, they'll take a seasonal leave. But other than that, we just roll right through, Yeah, just pest control. That's the one nice thing about pest control. So that's kind of why I did it when COVID hit, right? And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to restart this thing, what can I do that's year round, that's in their service industry? And I was like, pest control or something totally different, like HVAC and plumbing or something, heating, air, whatever. And we were already doing some pest control. And I was like, oh, it seems like the smarter way to go. So that's what we did. And then obviously looking back, it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made, but it came out of like desperation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we did the same thing. We did the same thing on the lawn side before we bought the FERT company. We started doing Christmas lights that filled a gap. We kept adding on our snow. So like on that side, that company, we've been able to retain most of our employees. I mean, we've got 12, 13-year employees, a bunch of 8 years with us. Like our main guys stay because, they get some time off, but they're still doing leaf cleanups yesterday, and then they're off until it snows on Sunday, and then we'll start taking Christmas lights down sometime next week if it's not too much snow. Yeah,
I love that too, because like I have in this branch that I'm at currently, like these guys have been here since day one. Like, well, not all of them, but one's been here since day one. The other two have been here for 6 years. This place, the other 3 people have been here for like 6 years. Yeah, this place runs like clockwork. Like, and it's just so smooth, it's just a great little branch. It's just like clockwork though. You know what I mean? Like you just don't worry about them not showing up. Like you don't have zero issues. Like it just rolls. Don't get complaints from customers. Like we don't get callbacks. Like the callbacks this year, looking at it for over the whole year was under 1%, which is incredible. Especially in the pest control side, other branches were at 3-4%. One even maybe closer to 5%,
Yeah. What's your main callbacks on pest control? Just still see bug?
Yeah, typically it's like I would say wasp for sure, ants, things like that. But more of it's we get hit with ants in the lawn, and there's just not a whole lot we can do about it. And sometimes it's not the technician's fault either. Sometimes it was oversold by a sales rep, because it happens. They promise the world. They're never going to see a bug again ever, I promise. But we've definitely gotten better over the time with that too, just training the right way and just things like that. That just take some time to tweak. But yeah, it's all good. I'm not complaining. But I'd say like this place just runs like clockwork. It's awesome. Because this is where every branch needs to be. But like I said, we've been in business here for 14 years, or I think it's been 14 years. So it was built differently too, just slow and steady, which has been pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it probably won't ever be as big as the other one. So it's.
Oh no, I think there's 12,000 people here, so it's tiny. You have more people in your neighborhood than we do in our whole city.
I drove through Escanaba not last summer, the summer before. We went up through Michigan, went to Mackinac Island, and then came down through Wisconsin. I was like, oh, this is Jonestown. And then I was like, oh, we're out of Jonestown.
There's 2 stoplights here. What'd you think of the bridge?
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Have you ever seen it before that?
No, I've never been up there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. What'd you think of Mackinac Island?
It was cool. We stayed on the island 2 nights, I think.
Yeah, what'd you think? Pretty different, hey?
Yeah, it's different. It's cool. It's beautiful. Like, all that up there is beautiful. Like, even just driving up through Michigan, I mean, it's gorgeous. It just, it's only gorgeous for what, 4 months a year, 5 months a year.
You get like June, middle of June, July, August, early September, and that's it. Outside of that, it's pretty rough, but falls are pretty. Summers are nice. The lakes are awesome. Like you open up my front door, I'm on Lake Michigan, so that's nice. Like literally, it's on my front door. So it's definitely nice. You go to the boat, it's fun. But in the summer, we're so busy, it's hard to find time to go out there. But yeah, the Mackinac Bridge is cool. Like for all the people that are listening, never seen before, it's something you definitely got to see. If you're there, check out Mackinac Island. Just a quick ferry ride over, like 45 minutes, maybe not even. And it's pretty cool. Just walk around. There's no vehicles over there. It's all horse and buggy. And
yeah, the UPS man was on a horse and buggy. It was kind of funny to see.
Yeah, it's just a different world. I actually tried to buy a company that did all the pest control down there, and it just didn't shake out. Very similar thing. You had to have a bike. You had to have a bike and a trailer. You had to do everything by hand. So it's kind of cool though. Like they did really well over there. But I was trying, but it just didn't shake out. That'd have been fun though. Like just to say that we did it. I should send my door knocking team in there and see how they do. It's pretty cool though. How long do you say they're just there for a couple nights?
Yeah, just 2 nights, and then we just did road trip. Yeah, we went to Indianapolis and then up through Michigan, and then down through Wisconsin. My wife's goal is to do all 50 states with the kids. So we are, I'll get this wrong, but probably 22, 23 states in. So, and we have to actually physically do something in each state. So this summer we rented an RV and went up from Kansas City up through North Dakota, over to Glacier National Park, then Yellowstone and the Black Hills in South Dakota on like a 2-week RV trip. It was epic. It was awesome.
That's really cool. Which brings me to a really good topic, which is kind of like you and I were talking about the other day, like just getting burnt out, right? Like it's a lot to handle all the time. And JP always just said to make sure to take like 1 vacation a quarter, because like a week or 2 prior, you're busting ass trying to get it all done before you leave, and then you get a week or whatever you choose, 4 or 5 days a week to reset, and then you come back and then you're trying to play catch up. So like it forces you to work harder and faster to get it all done. And so it's just good. It's even something that I have to learn to do, which I'm not great at it. Yeah, I travel a lot, but every time everyone sees me traveling, it's never just for fun. It's always I'm going somewhere to work. It is like whether it's a podcast or whether you're going to record videos or whatever it may be, or an event or a conference or something. It's never just for fun. So I got to remember myself just to take a little time and to breathe, but it's just I can't get my brain to turn it off.
Yeah, and I know that's why people would complain when he did the academy trips in April.
But that's why he did it.
He's like, I will always schedule them in the busiest time of the year because it forces you to get your work done and take off in figure it out. Like figure out how to be gone for a week in the busy time.
Because you have to get the business to a place where the busiest time of the year that it doesn't need you. So, but it's easier said than done because again, you're getting bombarded with calls early on in the business and there's just a lot going on and you're getting a couple hundred phone calls a day and it's all new and it's fun though. Yeah, let's just leave for a week.
My office staff, they'll always ask me when are you going on vacation? Because if I go on vacation in January, it's going to snow. It's going to be the worst snowstorm of the year. That's happened 3 times in the last 4 years. And then, I always try to schedule something in May or June when we're still busy, like out to the spring, get out on vacation, enjoy some time with the family, turn your phone off.
I'll be honest. There's another thing that I'm absolutely terrible at. Like everyone that knows me, like if they text me, if I don't respond in like a minute or so, there's probably something wrong or super busy. But I just like to be responsive to everyone, and maybe it's a fault of mine, but I've always been that way.
Have you ever turned your phone off?
Never. God, no. By the time I'm going to bed, I'm sitting on I have my phone and then I'm throwing in a podcast and listening to a book at night, or something, or podcast. I'm really bad at putting my phone down, which I got to get better at myself. So maybe 2025, that's the new goal. 2024, my personal goal is to have a 6-pack.
Do you?
I do. Actually, it was funny. I had it on the podcast early on, and I had a couple of people reach out to me within the past 2 weeks. Hey, just following up. Did you ever get that 6-pack? Sure did. But it's a lot of hard work. So I'm I feel like I'm talking a lot today. Must be antsy. But I'm on day like 67. 67 and 75 hard. So I got like 8 days left. And then one of my guys, he was going to start on the 1st, and he's actually started yesterday. So I said, you know what? I'm going to say this publicly again, and I shouldn't. I said, I'm going to go finish it with you. So I'm going to be almost like 150 days in by the time I'm done with this thing.
That can't be fun in Wisconsin.
Oh, it's cold, man. Like I said this in the podcast before too. If I ever do this again, remind me to not do it in the winter.
I saw it when you first posted it. You're on I saw it like day 6 or something. I'm looking at the calendar. I'm like, unless he's moving to Florida for like December, he's going to be.
Yeah. So like the last 2 weeks, literally the last 2 weeks, I've been in Florida twice for a couple of days. So that was kind of nice. But then I've actually been really lucky. I'm not complaining too much. We had a cold snap for like a couple of weeks where it was like 12 degrees. We got some snow, but now it's been like 30, 40 degrees. So I'll just do like a walk or a run around the block for 45 minutes, and it's not bad. The worst part, like I'd rather have snow than that wind, because that wind just rips through your clothing. It's like, oh, it's brutal. All just to say, like, I'm going to start back over, and I feel like January will be cold, but then February will be warmer. March will be warmer. So we're on the upswing at least.
So you're going to do like 140 days hard or 130 something.
I just say it was 75 day easy. Now it's going to be like 150 day hard. So it should be interesting. See if I can pull this off. Like the hardest part for me early on was the water. Then now that's pretty easy. But except for when I was flying, I didn't want to, which no one cares, but I didn't want to drink a bunch of water before I got on the plane. So then I'd land at like 5 p.m. and have to have a gallon of water done by like 9, 10 p.m. trying to slam this water. And then I'd come up all night. I have to go to the bathroom. So for those who are listening who live in the Midwest, try to do it like maybe start in February, March, April, May.
Yeah, I actually saw it when you started. I had a bunch of friends do it. I was like, man, I should do that. Then I was like, no, it's November.
Yeah. Well, one of my friends, one of my good friends from high school, I coached them. My stepbrother too. And he had just finished. And my response to his text message was going to be, well, it's almost the first of the year. I'll just wait till then. That was like my immediate response. And I was like, wait, that's not who I am. I can't do that. I can't send that text message. Like, okay, I'm just going to start today. That by January 1, like I'm already almost done with this thing. So I could have waited. And then I also said publicly that I have a 6-pack. So I was like, I had a few more pounds loose that forced me to get a little bit tighter with everything. So it all worked out pretty well.
Are you still doing carnivore?
So I was on carnivore for a year. And like, again, it's just another thing that I did because I heard it on Joe Rogan's podcast. They talked about it a lot. I was like, I'm just going to try this thing. And then I did it for a week. It's kind of like giving up alcohol. I did it for a week. Then it was 2 weeks. Then it was 3 weeks. Then it's a month. Then it's 3 months. Then it's 6 months. I was like, okay, how long can I do this for? And then I made it a year. I'm like, okay, I did it for a year. There was one caveat, though. I'll be honest with everyone. On Christmas Day, I had a bite of my daughter's cookie. And it tasted really well. I spit most of it out, but I did try a cookie.
For a kid.
Yeah, for the kids. So it was fine. Like I felt really good on it. My inflammation was gone. I had a little bit of tennis elbow early on. And then when I switched my diet, it could have just been because it went away. I'm not sure. timing and everything, but it went away within like a month. I had my tennis elbow was gone, which is awesome. And so yeah, I did it for a year, and then I went and got my labs checked just to see. I turned 40. I was doing that carnivore diet, just kind of want to see where I was at, and everything was really good. My cholesterol was not super high, but higher than what they had liked. I told them what I was doing, like, oh yeah, it's not an issue. You'll drop those 15 points or 20 points, whatever it was, like within a few weeks. But they already knew why it was high, because it's never been high prior to that. But again, my dad was diabetic, so I just want to make sure I was good. I'm healthy I'm healthy, I guess. And yeah, and the only thing they really wanted me to adjust was that, and my vitamin D was really low. But up here, we just don't get any. We don't ever see the sun ever. Always dark up here. So I got over the counter supplements for that, and take my fish oil and a few other things. But other than that, so far I'm healthy, which is good. But going back to the 75 hard thing, like I said, I wanted to have a 6-pack, and I haven't had a 6-pack in my adult life. So I look back at pictures even from 6 months ago or a year ago. Like, I don't even recognize myself anymore. It's crazy. I look in the mirror and I'm pretty shredded right now, which is kind of fun. But I haven't been that way since high school, since like my senior year in high school.
Yeah, since you were wrestling every day.
Yeah, and I was sucking weight all the time. So I think I graduated at like 130. Well, I was 157 naturally, and I cut 2.5 weeks later to 130 alpha for wrestling. So I was like, I'm all skin and bones. My grandma would be like, she'd cut, like, Jonas, you need to eat some food. But yeah, so I haven't had a 6-pack since then, and then maybe like shortly after high school. And you get into get into college, start drinking beer.
Beer always does it.
So yeah, this is the first time I had a 6-pack in my adult life, which is pretty cool. So I don't want to not have one anymore, so I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's kind of my goal. That's one of my goals. I need to lose I lost last year, 2023. I had a high blood pressure and had a health scare. So I lost 40 pounds in 2023, and I've been able to keep most of it off. And so my goal, I kind of took it easy this year. And then, I was looking for, hopefully, this next year, losing the last 10 or 15 pounds, and might have to make my goal have a 6-pack, because same thing. I haven't had a 6-pack since I was in high school playing soccer every day. So
you said that you might have to, so you didn't say it publicly. You said that he might. So don't hold him to it. One of my guys had the same thing happen to him. He said he was publicly going to do it at an event, and now he's like, okay, I got to get to it. Now he said he's going to do it. He's going to go do it. But I started off, like, when I downloaded MyFitnessPal 3 years ago, I think it's 3 or 4 years ago, it was like I was like 193. When I started 75 hard, I was 184. And the last time that I checked my weight, I was like 168. So, like, I look back at Brandon Peterman, haven't said his name on the podcast in a while. He sent me a video of us at Chase Coates' building. Just for that, we were out there for Academy. I don't know if you were at the event or not. We're at Chase's. He sent me a video of us. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I don't recognize either of us. But I find it interesting how, like, feels like a lot of people focus on business for a long time, and then all of a sudden you'll slowly watch them transition into like health and like start to take care of their body. Like, I find that fascinating. It's just not just one or two, it's a lot.
Yeah, and that's what my realization when I had the blood pressure issues, and then I started looking at everything. It's like these guys that a lot of them that do well in business, like, you watch them, they get, frankly, you get fat, you get lazy, they're just working all the time. And then you start concentrating yourself, educate yourself, read books, podcasts, all that stuff, and then work on yourself fitness wise, mentally. Something there changes, like just your mentality, everything changes with taking care of yourself. And then all of a sudden it's like they're all shredded. And
I think, like, we want to outlast our competition, right? And if we want to outlast them, we just got to be in better shape, because what happens, again, like you said, like, most of us go out in the field and we're having a diet off, stop at the gas stations or whatever. We're going to get fast foods. We're eating like shit. We're not going to the gym. We're stressed out all the time early on, whether it's money or employees or running the business, whatever it may be, you get stressed out, and then we're most of the time going home and drinking a beer or two or whatever it may be, you know, like you get caught in that cycle. Then it's like at some point you're like, oh shit, like if I'm going to outlast my competition, like I got to be healthy. I got to take care of myself. And like selfishly, I want to look good, and selfishly for my kids, like I want to make sure that I can do everything that I can to be on this earth for as long as I can be for them, you know? So just there's a lot to it. Not that things can't happen, but if I can help prevent them from happening, I'm going to, you know?
Yeah. You know, a lot of it comes down to what you're doing for your family. And yeah, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be here. My father-in-law died at 54, 53. And that was an eye opener for a lot of us, is like, he didn't take care of himself at all. And it's like, take a little bit of time, take care of yourself. And, you know, frankly, my back hurt, my neck hurt, my feet hurt. I lost 40 pounds in 4 months, and all that went away.
Yeah. And like you go to the doctor, they want to give you something for everything. They just don't teach you to, hey, go get healthy. Like we don't need to go this big pharma conspiracy theory bullshit, but like it's so true. Like they just want to fix everything and prescribe you with some sort of medication or heart medication or whatever. Like if people would just focus on what they eat and what they're putting in their mouth, you know, and like getting, you know, whether you can go hire, if you have the money, you go hire a dietitian or whatever.
I mean, that's what I did. I went to a weight loss doctor basically, and because they put me on like 3 blood pressure medicines. I was like, I'm not doing this at 38 years old. Like, I'm not. And went and did it all. And now I go back every 6 months for a ton of blood work, and everything's, you know, I take my vitamin D and a bunch of other supplements they put me on. And, you know, I got energy. Like, I can get up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym. And now I got to find a new gym because I live out in the middle of nowhere. But
you have to make your own gym.
Yeah, it's the plan. That's the plan. Just work out in the basement, because it's literally, there's not a gym within a half hour.
Yeah, it's just like I just think of like there's like 5 people off the top of my head that they're pretty heavy and really close friends of mine. It's like you almost want to have a conversation with them, like, hey, like you should really think about doing something with your health. Like love you, buddy. Like, but you're not looking very good. And then all of a sudden, like without saying, like they flipped a switch, and now a couple of them just dropped 100 and some pounds. It's like unreal. Like you get so proud of those guys, you know?
Yeah, I've actually decided I was not going to be nice, and I've had that conversation with several friends and shared my story. Like, this is what I went through. I was like, I'm not going to die at 50 years old from a heart attack because I didn't take care of myself. And just told them, like, you got kids.
Yeah, I'd rather be that family member or friend that's going to be honest with you, be like, hey, you should probably take care of yourself, than be the guy who's not going to say anything and let something bad happen to you, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, I'll go to the gym with you. Tell me what time and what gym. I'll be there every day. And nobody's taking me up on that. But I've had several friends that have actually, you know, started back the gym. And after I said something like, dude, I did it. It's hard. It sucks.
Everyone watches me go to the gym every single day. I post it daily in our Pronto chat. I post it daily and publicly, like I do it every day. And you'd be surprised at how many people started going to the gym or ask questions like how to get started. And most people just don't want to go to the gym because they think everyone's looking at them. Like that's a lot of it, but no one really cares. Like everyone's there. If you ask anyone, they'd probably help you, you know? So those of you who think it's 2021, so I know that gym's gonna be, or 2021, Jesus Christ. Tomorrow is 2025, the first of the year. The gym is going to be crazy busy. Just FYI. But it only lasts like 2 weeks. Then most people fall
2 weeks,
off.
maybe a month, and then, yeah, you'll be fine. Just go at 5 a.m. and there's nobody there.
Quit quitting. Just stop quitting. Because those first 2 weeks are the hardest. Because you go to the gym, they put all this work in for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and they don't see any results. And they're all pissed out. This just doesn't work. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going back. They find an excuse not to go. You've put on that weight over the last, however old you are, 20, 30, 40 years. It's not going to come off in 3 weeks, you know? And the diet's got to be there to match with it. And it's a lifestyle change. It's not just, hey, I'm going to go to the gym here and there, expect a bunch of results. Like it's literally a lifestyle change. You have to change it up, and it's hard. You have to make it a routine, you know?
Yeah, what I didn't realize how much the nutrition has to do with it. You can go to the gym 7 days a week for a year And you'll get stronger, but you won't lose the weight until you figure out the diet. And once you figure out the diet, I mean, I literally, once they sort out my diet, I mean, I was losing 5 pounds a week, every week for like 2 months.
That's awesome. Because like people think, a lot of people who are listening to the podcast, they know because they've seen me carry around this stupid little scale everywhere I go to everything that I put in my mouth. Yeah. Does it suck? Yes. Is it cool? No. But you know what? It's just where I'm at with my health right now.
Yeah. You actually carry a scale around?
Yeah, it's dumb. Like even into restaurants, I'll bring it with me. Everyone just shakes their head. Like I'll just put it underneath my seat and I'll pull it out, track it. Not every time. Like I would say the majority of the time I do, but if I know that I'm going to go out to eat that night, I'll watch what I eat or don't eat during the day, and then I'll just make sure that if I'm having whatever I'm eating at night, because I think my calories are set like 1,700 calories.
Well, it's pretty low.
Yeah, so it's pretty low right now. Like I said, I'm just trying to get lean. But yeah, she'll probably bump me back up after the holidays, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they had me at 1,200 calories for 3 months.
Yeah, that's rough.
First week was okay. The second, third, and fourth week were terrible. And then after that, you weren't even hungry.
Yeah, I think my protein's at 180. My fats are at 49. I believe my carbs are like 150. Somewhere right in there. But yeah, just tracking it daily. Now we went on a health kick for the last 20 minutes. But hey, you know what? I've actually talked about it's the podcast. Everyone deals with the same shit. You know what I mean? Whether it's marketing or sales or business or health. I think the health has to get out there a little bit more. And I didn't plan on taking that this way, but this is the way it went. But anyway, so 2025, what's the goal?
2025.
What's Andrew's goals personally and
okay,
business?
say personally, I'll take you up on this. A 6-pack.
You have till December 31st of 2025.
Yeah, to have a 6-pack. I'll do it. I only got to lose probably. I'm at 210 right now. I need to get down to probably 185, 190. And it'll be there. That's where I hold all my fats, all in the belly.
That's the first place I get it too. My belly, and then second place my face. And I'm short too, so that doesn't help. You know.
Yeah, I'm tall. I'm 6'2", so I can hide the weight a little bit. But
I'm like the opposite. I'm like 2'6".
If I showed you a picture of me from before I lost my weight, you'd be like, holy shit. Like, I went from extra large, maybe pushing double XL shirts to now I wear a large. Like, I wear a large and it's loose. So, but yeah, let's say it's 6-pack in 2025. And then business-wise, we're trying to sell the lawn company, the mowing company.
That'd be a nice weight off your shoulders. It's a great business too. It's super profitable. It's not like it's bad. You know what I mean?
It's like your Esplanade, but for like, I don't do anything. Like the guys are all there. They show up, they go. Like, I got a production manager. He knows everything. Like, the office girls say, like, I literally take care of 2 customers, 2 big properties, big contracts we have that I've dealt with them for 15 years. So they call me. But you know, it's one of those things. It's still free up some capital and free up some time for the office and free up some equipment. Other business, we're doing the door-to-door thing. So I'd like to hit, I haven't checked final numbers for this year. I think we'll be about 1.6 or 1.7 on the first side this year. I like to add $1 million in revenue. I like to be 2.6, 2.7 next year.
I like it.
We're doing a lot of the stuff ourselves. We're going to do the Facebook ads ourselves, I think, and door-to-door. More videos. We're working on those. Next week, we're going to start shooting some more videos and getting those edited and try to just hammer down that our marketing's falling flat this year. So, you know, time to change some stuff up. We've been doing the same stuff for 4 years, and it's progressively gotten crappier, slower. You know, it's not working.
And a lot of times they're changing too, and a lot of things have changed. We can have that discussion on their call. Just take a look at it, see what's going on. Dive a little bit deeper, see what's going on there to help you out. Are you much of a reader?
That's my ongoing forever goal is to read more. I do a lot of books on tape, but I still find myself, you know, sitting here in the office working and not listening to something. It's just, I I hate reading actual books. I've never been a reader. So, I do a lot of podcasts, try to do a lot of books, audible books.
Any podcasts you'd recommend that you listen to?
Pest Control Millionaire is a pretty good one.
That is a good one. I wasn't even asking for that one.
Frankly, I just listen to a lot of random ones. Like, I don't really subscribe to a lot of them and watch the same stuff. Patrick Bet-David, I listen to a lot of his. Yeah, he's freaking awesome. End up watching a lot of Joe Rogan.
Me too. That's where I get my news from, and PBD lately.
Yeah, and then I'll just random business ones. I mean, I find instead of watching one podcast all the time, I just I'll watch Joe Rogan and he has a guest on, then I'll go watch that guest one, and then he has somebody on, I'll go watch that one. So I just kind of just randomly watch business ones, sales ones. I have been watching a lot more in the last 6 months. Personal ones, like what we've been talking about with your health, like how to get your mind right, work on yourself.
Yeah, I've been, obviously for me, it's Patrick Bet-David, Joe Rogan. I'll jump over, listen to Lex here and there. Alex Hormozy, a lot of Layla's stuff. What else I listen to? Andy Purcell a lot too. And then the newest one that I've enjoyed a lot lately is called, plug these guys. It's called My First Million. It is freaking awesome. It's really, really cool. I've been going down a rabbit hole in that one too. So it's cool. It's every different business and billionaires, whatever, like how they've made their first million is super cool. It's just fascinating to me. Cool. Last question for you, because I know we're going over time already, so sorry about that. Same thing I always end with, because I like to have you guys show a little gratitude. What are you most proud of?
I'd say in business, it'd be the team we built. I mean, we've got 24, 25 employees that all give me their all, show up every day, work hard, enjoy being here, enjoy working for me. It's a big family. So I guess I'm most proud of that is, building something that doesn't just help me out, helps them out. I've got employees that'll be with me forever as long as I take care of them, which I'm going to take care of them. Personal life, I'd say it's been the last 2 years, but getting healthy, and I've been taking more time to spend with the kids, the family. I got a 9, 7, and 4-year-old, so I don't want to be the father that was always at work all the time. They might not see it. I work all the time, but I'll come home at 4:00 and do my thing, and then they go to bed, and I'll sit in the living room on the computer and work. Then it's being present, I guess.
I love that. Awesome, man. Well, again, thank you for taking the time with us today. It's always good to hear you. We'll have to chat. We're definitely going to get you back on same time, same day, 2025, and see where you're at.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to hold you to the fire on these ones.
Well, hopefully
not wearing that gay ass Kansas City Chiefs shirt.
Football, I'm not a big football guy. I watch it and everything, and Kansas City is a big deal, but
they are good. Mahomes the monster. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, we actually went and looked at Mahomes' house to do some work for him when they built it, and I tell you what, those guys are some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
We went and checked out his golf course at his house, and pretty nice.
Yeah, they're definitely nice for sure. Yeah, they're cool people too. They really are. There's a few of them that I won't mention any names because I don't want to be on their bad side ever. Not that they go public, but there's a few that are too. So, but for the most part, they're awesome. They're just everyday dudes. Like AJ Dillon. Like he's just a kid, 25 years old, super cool, nice as can be. He's awesome. Yeah.
If you didn't recognize them and they were so famous, you would never know. Like they just normal people. Just good at what they do.
Absolutely. Well, awesome, man. I can't wait to talk to you in a couple of weeks, and I can't wait to see where you're at a year from today.
with a 6-pack.
That's going to be awesome. I'm excited. All right, buddy. We'll chat with you soon.
Okay.
See you.
Later.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Pest Control Millionaire. We don't charge any money for the show, obviously, but the podcast isn't free. You can pay for the podcast by sharing it with your friends and your family. So please like and subscribe and give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. These things make a huge difference for us. If you have any specific questions you want answered about the business or your life by me or my guests, send an email to info@pestcontrolmillionaire.com. And if you want to get in touch with me about any personal business coaching, check out our website at www.pestcontrolmillionaire.com. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you guys again on the next one.